here's how I texture things for games in Blender. So I've made 2 games in the past, 3 games in the past now, that I've released on Steam. So here's one of the models from that game. As you can see, it's not perfect, and that's my point in this video. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect most of the time. These walls here are probably just auto UV unwrapped, and then I just went into the UV editor and it looks like this. Let's just select unused material. So I probably just like aligned these to be like the same orientation, because like you don't want the one side of the planks to be going vertical and one side horizontal. That looks weird. So that's what I did, and on the roof I just basically I think I just like did something very similar. Probably just auto unwrapped, and then just made sure that the tiles of the roof were facing the right way, so it wasn't like, so it didn't look weird basically. So like both sides would be in the same orientation going downwards. So that's basically just all I did here. Now, if you want to make a game with lots of other people, learn a whole bunch, and have it all go to charity, all the money you make, go down to the first link in the description. It's a Discord community with lots of other people making this game. Currently we're working on Isopod Keeping Simulator, and then later we'll probably be making other games. I don't know when you're watching this, so join that. You'll learn way faster. And now back to the video. You can see this is a very basic model, like it isn't particularly complicated. This is just a shop for my game Open Hunting Excel. And I just pulled it down all the way here, as you can see, just so I could kind of like adjust how it was sitting in the dirt, so you don't immediately see like, oh hey, there's a little gap there. Because like if it's like submerged in dirt, like just about, like just a tiny layer, you can see, it's nicer if there's like something there at least. So that's why this building looks like this, and that's why it has that big base there. So that's this game, that's this building basically. And now let's go on to something a little more complicated. This ant from my game Ant Keeping Simulator. So this looks nicer in the game, as it has a really nice shader in game. Here it doesn't have any shaders, it just has the texture on it, I guess. I guess it is a shader, but my point being, looks nicer in game. And they're like very small, and like there's a lot of them, so that's why it's not that detailed of a mesh. But excuses aside, I just used a so for the ants I used an actual texture of like some sort of like pine needle ground texture, I think it was, and then I stuck that on the ant and kind of texture painted it in Blender itself. I usually don't do that. I usually prefer using GIMP, but I just figured out this was the best option for this game, because I needed a lot of ants, and they looked all about similar, about the same, and they had all the same UVs, because I just copy pasted the same model and then adjusted it, so they all like looked similar, so there wasn't like any jarring like changes in between the ant species. So like they all had like a kind of similar art style. So this ant here, basically, its UVs are just auto unwrapped at some point, I think, and see, this doesn't look quite right, these lines here, but as you can see, like it's an ant. You see it from like this far away usually, so like that doesn't matter that much. You don't tend to be this up close to these ants, so that's not something that actually bothers me at all. Like I think that's these spikes here. Yeah, these spikes have some texture stretching. Doesn't matter if they're too small. So you shouldn't be putting too much effort into your game. Well, you should be putting a lot of effort in your game, but you should be optimizing that effort to get the biggest output from that effort. You shouldn't be having like, you shouldn't be working 10 hours on something that could be done in 2 minutes and look basically the same from like a gamer's or like a player's perspective. So that's an important point. And also, yeah, so basically my workflow was just like texturing in here. I usually, when I'm modeling an object, I don't actually add the textures in Blender itself unless the orientation is important. So here in this this model here, I just unwrapped it and added the texture. But I actually added the texture here because I wanted to know, like, are these planks in the right orientation? Are these roof tiles in the right orientation? That was important, so I did do that here. Usually, say I'm modeling a tree or something, I don't actually add a texture to it. I just go auto unwrap, done. And that works. That, like, you don't have to be that advanced about your modeling. You actually shouldn't be, because making a game takes like so long. You shouldn't be making that take even longer for no reason. So that's basically why this model looks like this, and why I chose to texture it like this. I usually, indeed, just auto unwrap things. I don't go with the whole manual unwrapping. Usually with animals I do, but I didn't do that for Ant Keeping Simulator. But usually if I'm modeling an animal, I'm texture painting it, I do unwrap it manually. Now, as a final note, I just want to say this is my workflow, and this is not the ultimate best way to do it, of course. There are other ways to go about it. There's better ways, there's worse ways, there's probably many more ways to do this. Many ways to skin a cat. So if you want to learn my way to skin a cat, aka make a game, join my Discord. I'm making a game there for charity. You've probably been a little promotional thing in this video for that. So if you check that out, you can like learn from me, with me, making a game for charity. All goes to new incentives and effective altruism charity, which is super cool. And they're my favorite charity in the world, and they're super effective. So they're super cool. I love this project, so please join that, and then we can make games together for charity, and it's really cool. So that was this video.